Hello everybody, I hope that you've had a good week. I would like to start today by saying thank you so much for all the beautiful support and love that you offered me after last week's recording. It was a very challenging experience, but it was a very powerful one for me. And in fact, the entire weekend was a very powerful experience for me. I actually decided to go on an ayahuasca retreat last weekend. And for those of you that don't know what that is, ayahuasca is a vine from South America. And it's a very powerful plant that has been used for centuries to help people receive deep insights from themselves, essentially. The plant facilitates your ability to see the resistance which is in your system towards yourself, towards people in your life, towards your experiences. And the plant enables you to see these aspects of your resistance, of aspects of yourself, and gives you great clarity on how you can move forward with them. I got a lot of clarity last weekend, and it was an extremely powerful experience. And I wanted to mention this because plant medicine is controversial in many ways, and yet it has been a profound player in my journey to date. I have received so much insight, so much wisdom from sitting with plant medicine, and I think it is one of the most powerful things that you can do. I think you need to research it well before you decide to do it so that you understand what it is. And I think that when you choose to join a group of people who are sitting in ceremony with plant medicine, that you choose that environment carefully, that it is one that will support you lovingly through the experience. For those of you that have no idea of what I'm talking about, plant medicine is essentially sitting in ceremony, which is actually the really important part to understand. When you sit in ceremony with plant medicine, you sit with great reverence for the process of what you're doing. And there are certain plants which have extremely powerful impacts on our physiology, on our psychology, whilst they work through our system. And when you sit in ceremony, when you sit with a group of people who are all aligned with the intention of sitting with the beautiful plant that is on offer, with the intention of receiving deep insight and deep wisdom from it, the energy that is available to your growth is really profound. This isn't like going to a big party and taking recreational drugs like magic mushrooms, okay? This is sitting potentially with mushrooms, but sitting in ceremony, sitting with the specific desire to reach a deeper understanding of yourself, and with great reverence and respect for the consciousness that that plant represents and is enabling you to connect with. So I've personally had a really powerful experience with plant medicine. I think it is a really incredibly accessible way for people to access their higher consciousness. That's my truth on that subject. And for the emotional position, the state that I was in essentially last Friday, it was probably the most powerful thing that I could have done. And I'm not saying it was an easy journey by any stretch, but it was exactly what I needed. And it has brought me a lot of peace at a time which was very challenging for me. So I'm very grateful to ayahuasca for that. And we call her mother. We call her the mother because she is very powerful, and she holds you in a place of great learning. And it was a really wonderful experience. And I'm very grateful to her, and I'm grateful to you all for holding space for me during that period. So thank you so much. We continue our journey in the Cancer new moon now. And There's a lot going on astrologically. And the journey continues to bring up a lot of our shadows, a lot of our fears, our insecurities. And as I've said many times, the reason for this is because we're moving into an energy that is actually far more supportive. And in order for us to sustainably exist in that energy, it's really important that we clear our systems as much as we can of the darker, heavier energies that we've kind of moved from. So the journey that we're going through might be rocky, but it's really powerful, and it's actually a very big gift, because when we can release our fears and just gradually work through these aspects of ourselves that we find challenging, we are healing. This is a journey of healing. We are, all of us as a collective, ascending in love, ascending in compassion for one another, ascending in the desire not to live with the things that we've lived with in the past. A lot of what we're seeing around the world is the darkness that has been insidious in our society in various forms being shifted right up to the surface, so that we're being forced to look at the aspects of ourselves that and our fellow man that are not aligned with our highest good, in order that we can do something about it. So it's a really powerful time, and I want to talk a bit to that again today, because I want to talk to you about how we attack ourselves and how we do this throughout the day, very subconsciously. And I want to highlight it so that you have great clarity as to when and how and what that looks like for you. So attack might seem like a really strong word, and you're thinking, I don't attack myself. But every single time that you say to yourself, I need to do that, I have to do that, I must do this. Every single time you're saying, oh, how could I have forgotten that? Or I should have done that better. And I wish that I'd done this. Or I regret that. All of these are subliminal messages to yourself that you're not enough. I have to do that. Well, why haven't you done it already? The subliminal message is, you failed. I need to do that. The subliminal message is, because if I don't, I'm not enough. You see, so it's constant attacking of ourself that is so integrated into our inner narrative that we're completely unaware of it until we're aware of it. And then we see how prolific it is. So what I wanted to share with you today, instead of a practice that I would normally give you, a meditation practice, I want to leave you with a takeaway that you can start to practice through your day. Something that can start to help you acknowledge and maybe start to shift some of the attack thoughts that you are using towards yourself. And it's actually something I was reminded of last weekend, and it's the Ho'oponopono prayer. This is a Hawaiian prayer. It's a mantra. It's a really powerful self-healing device, if you like. And it's basically based on 4 statements. So the idea is that you would observe a self-attack thought, like, I have to go for a run, or I have to do exercise, whatever that might look like, even when you don't feel like it. And acknowledging the tone of that message to yourself, and the fact that there's a subliminal message in there that's saying you're not enough, or I have to eat less, or I have to, whatever the phrase might be, okay? It's something that implies that you're not already enough as you are. Observing the message to yourself, and then saying to yourself, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you can say any one of those 4 statements as many times as you can or want to. So it might be, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So you're looking for real sincerity. And if I love you is way too far from where you feel you sit with yourself right now, that's okay too. Just sitting with the concept of saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you, and I appreciate that would be enough. To be honest, the most powerful part of this process is in the acknowledging of the thought, the recognizing to what degree you are attacking yourself on a daily basis. Because in acknowledging that, you then have the opportunity to start to shift that behavior. And you may just have the intention of changing your relationship with yourself. And that in itself would be very powerful. But if you can start to use that beautiful Ho'oponopono practice, it would really serve you, because it would start to build a relationship with yourself that is built on mutual love and respect and deep understanding. It's funny how often and easily we look to create those relationships with others that are supportive and kind and loving, and yet how often we are, most of the time, oblivious to the lack of that type of relationship with ourselves. So I'd like to leave you with that thought today, and hopefully that practice. And I would also love to hear how you go with it, how it serves you. I will, with the email or the post, if you're in the Facebook group, great, I'll put the words of Ho'oponopono on there. And I'll also add it onto the email as well. Also, if I have pronounced that incorrectly, I apologize. I did look it up, so I'm hoping it's correct. Yeah, and any other areas you would like me to speak to or you would like support with, please reach out. Also, I am going to be doing my Freedom Fundamentals 6-week online course. So if you would like to work with me more directly, yeah, please get in touch and I can send you more details. It's also on my website under services and online courses. And my website is www.kwilson.love, because everything is made of love. I'm wishing you the most beautiful weekend, and thank you again, all you beautiful people that sent me so much love. I am so grateful to you, and I feel very loved and supported and lucky. So blessings to you all, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.